Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Nerds with Dice. I am your GM for session three of Pencils Down, Weapons Up. I'm Nanite. I use he, him pronouns, and I will let the cast introduce themselves once again. Whoever would like to start.
We're playing the dance. I nominate
You
Keith.
start. Oh,
Oh, ah!
Hi, I'm Keith. Tonight I'll be playing Yarrow, and both of us use he, they pronouns.
Hello,
Sex.
I'm Emma, and tonight I will be playing Rose, she, her pronouns.
Hi, I am Lily. I will be playing True, and we both use they, she pronouns, although True also uses he.
And hi, I'm Jonas, they, them, and I am playing Keone, who is she, they.
all right. So, a little recap of last session. Last session was pretty much all combat. Our students slash pilots to be got to pilot their combat mechs for the very first time and earned a solid C minus from Oleander. Much to do this, or sorry, a C plus. Credit where credit's
Thank
due.
you. Thank you.
Much to Keone's dismay. The group unfortunately has earned the highest grade that Cradle has earned on their first combat outing. There was definitely a little bit of back and forth of why was Oleander going so hard on them. We got a little bit of the reasoning towards the end there in the dialogue between Keone and Oleander, right before we left on a little cliffhanger. And speaking of the cliffhanger, Keone, what was that cliffhanger?
Yeah. Apparently, not only do my parents want me to suffer, but they are coming to witness me suffer in person. So
They are
cool. Very
indeed.
cool. We love that.
We found out that Keone's parents are visiting a week from whatever that day was. Time is kind of hard to tell in space, but they were visiting in a week's worth of system hours, um, or a week's worth of relative time. That's about how long the travel takes. So, in that week, what is everyone doing? Well, because you are the topic of discussion, Keone, what does the remainder of that week look like? How does it affect your studies? What is Keone doing to prepare for the arrival of her parents? Stuff like that.
Keone's first days here at Orion Academy have accelerated what could have been a much longer character arc. She is very pointedly trying to find solace and I don't know if solidarity is the right word, but she's trying to link up with the team and have a shelter of this squad of 4 new students. She is spending a lot of time reviewing the combat footage and going over it with everyone and just generally trying to uh, if any other students give us shit for our performance, be like, well, actually, we outperformed. Like, I read your whole history, and we outperformed you on this, and this metric, and you don't know anything about it. And Rose kicked ass, and Yarrow is the best hacker who's ever been to the school. And if True gets in your face, you will regret it. So back off. Just trying to hype everyone up as much as possible and
Awesome.
distract herself with that.
Very nice. Rose, what does it look like post combat for you and then the days following?
I think that Rose, having gone from the first few weeks here prior to our first combat simulation were sort of a cautious amount of enjoyment, going from not planning to being here to realizing that it is actually very interesting. post that simulation has also kind of started to throw herself directly into the learning by doing as much as she can, as she realizes that this is something that she's not good at yet but can see the path to becoming much better at. That's a unique kind of feeling for learning a skill set, I think, is something that you know how to learn to be good at. So she's gone into, I think, is hanging around, is reviewing things with Keeney, is very much falling in lockstep with that, because she's used to being part of a team, not working individually, but is also hanging a lot around the engineering bays, kind of asking a lot of strange questions about what all of the different what mechs look like when you start to do stranger and more augmented things with them rather than just the basic
Hmm.
ones we were in, things like that.
Yeah, you definitely get some like sideways looks when you start inquiring about these. That being said, Ezra does kind of take you under their wing. Um, Being the main mechanic of the house, they're able to answer your questions a lot in better terms than most other people are, and they kind of see like where you're heading with a lot of the questions, and get the feeling that's like a lot of it is about comfort and like trying to not necessarily like make you feel like you're at home, um but by explaining things, it probably benefits everyone in the long run. So Ezra is definitely like taking you under their wing, over like the next like length of time. Basically, when you're not with Kiani, you're probably with Ezra. Um, True. What does the next week look like for you?
Well, studying and going to class and getting good grades has never been a priority for True before. But like after that combat and like seeing what the mix can do, and then kind of actually um, being able to apply some of the learning to the fighting and to strategy and all that kind of stuff. True is kind of into school now. And True was only not into school before because it was something her dad wanted her to be into.
Hmm.
So, um, you know, they're actually like arriving early at class, and then staying late and asking questions of the teacher. Like, if there's like office hours, they're always like there knocking on the door.
Oh yeah.
Um, Probably making a little bit of a nuisance of themselves, like going around and saying, like, yeah, did you guys see? Like a C plus for True is like really good. Like, did you guys see? Like, yeah, okay, we killed it, right? Um, and maybe like stopping just shy of being obnoxious only because you can tell that it's like um they're saying it with pride and like accomplishment as opposed to like trying to brag and like bring anybody else down.
Yeah, awesome. While you're doing this, you notice like you do have a little bit of a shadow with you this whole time. She's kind of like not like egging you on, but like being like a motivating force. Like she sees like you've really taken a shine to your studies all of a sudden, and she's like, "Oh wait, no, that's awesome." And you get her. It's nice to have someone there, like also kind of like hyping you up with this. She does that for like the better part of a week, and then she lets you know, like, "Hey, Oleander's cycling is coming up. Like, I'm going to be in the lab pretty much like 24/7. So if you need me, that's where I'll be." And you kind of confirm that, like, yeah, UA is like in the lab when she's not at like meals, and even then, it's kind of iffy sometimes. And then Yarrow, what does the next week look like for you?
Yarrow is also a little focused on his studies
Mhm.
because he's kind of competitive. And so this C plus grade, he wants to like improve that. But
Okay.
I think that Yarrow is a little stupid in certain like subjects. I think in
Okay.
like battle history, mathematics, that sort of stuff. Um, maybe he's not so well, maybe not mathematics, but there's certain subjects where he's not very good, and he
Mhm.
tries to go to the rest of the team to maybe do like a study group, or maybe we could work on different projects together or something. But when it comes to like software and hardware, I think that Yarrow is kind of a savant.
Mhm.
And I imagine that both he and Rose probably like work on the mechs together with Ezra. And while and correct me if I'm wrong, Emma, I'm imagining that Rose is more focused on like the hardware of the mechs. I think Yarrow is more focused on the software that runs them. And so in that way they're kind of like a dynamic duo.
That absolutely sounds right to me. Yeah, Rose is definitely very centered on the hardware, the physical aspects. Has
Mhm.
been working in all of the mechs and mech adjacent machines she's worked with have been extremely minimal software over the years. So is very excited that that's your area of focus and we can bounce off each other.
More or less like glorified cranes, um, on like your home planet. But yeah, Ezra definitely like picks up on this with you as well, Yarrow, and it's very obvious that they're like a brilliant mechanic, but the software portions of these mechs kind of is a bit beyond their current understanding. That being said, they do kind of like share some of the research they've done with the NHPs, and by proxy, you end up getting like elevated access to the NHP lab. It's kind of like the same level as you has currently. So you is like in the NHP lab preparing for Oleander's cycle, and it's kind of like giving you like updates on how the like how they prepare for the cycling, and like what all that encompasses, why it's so important that the NHPs go through this cycling. Um, and it's all very interesting stuff. And on the side, William is giving you like basically like tutoring for the subjects that you're like lacking in. So you're very well-rounded house that Cradle has. And it's becoming like more and more apparent as you get closer with these individuals and the rest of the house. Like they kind of get a bad rap a little bit, not because they're like really shitty people or anything, but just because they're a very small house, so like no one really talks to them very often. And everyone kind of like all the other houses are so large, so they have enough people to talk to, but you kind of have the advantage of having a smaller house means it's very easy to connect with everyone. You kind of like support each other like much better than you would struggle to do so outside of like such an environment. Um, so that's about like the next week or so's time. It ends up taking a little bit longer for Kiani's parents to get here. Um, Nothing like really no real reason was like given to you, Kiani. Just that like their ship like had to pick someone else up on the way,
Mm,
who was also
mm-mm.
coming to the academy.
That's scary.
Um,
I don't like that.
so they end up coming closer to Oleander's cycling date. You're about like probably realistically like 3 days out of the day that Oleander gets cycled. And for those of you who want a little bit of Lancer lore, So Oleander, as we've mentioned a few times previously, is an NHP, non-human persons, basically an eldritch being that we taught to do math, and they also taught themselves how to teach us math so we can talk to them. It's all very confusing, but they're basically a super smart computer powered by the Eldritch Void. Um, but as such, if they go too long without resetting in some capacity, they kind of go berserk. They start undoing these shackles that keep them in check and able to talk to like normal people. If an NHP cascades or becomes unshackled, they lose all sense of reasoning because they revert to their like eldritch thought processes, which are not reasonable to us. They don't make sense to the average human. In fact, anything they do is completely unreasonable and very, very dangerous for real space because NHPs have paracausal effects on reality. A cascading, unshackled NHP is a nightmare. So, NHPs go through uh, scheduled resets, basically, where they're given like a little um, what's best referred to as like a save point, which captures their current memories and personalities. Their entire body's cycled, reset, shackles are like fixed and put back in place, and then they are fine for however long they go between cycling. For someone like Oleander, it they do not get cycled very often. It is like a once a year kind of deal, maybe even longer. But because Oleander is part of the entire academy, them going down is kind of a big deal because they control a lot of systems. A lot of things go offline temporarily. All of your data pads have like a little Oleander in it, kind of, sort of. Basically, like a chat bot. But Oleander himself can also like pop up in him, as we've seen multiple times. So, what are the days, Kina? You hear that your parents are delayed by a few days. What is that like? What runs through your mind in these like few extra days? Because it's not like them to be late.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it is like so like Keanu is like that's like unconscionable. So uh whoever is on whoever they stopped to pick up on the ship, Keone is like, I am scared of that person. Whoever has such gravity, like a black hole, to warp the precision engineered schedules of two SSC executives is that's a scary we're gonna it's like interstellar, we're gonna get pulled into their orbit and crushed. So Keone is trying to very I don't know how she would do it because it's not like this is like public information, but she's gonna try her darndest to figure out who that could be. Where do they stop, even if that
Mhm.
like she can access those records on the OmniNet at all.
Um, yeah, I feel like this might be a good time to make a roll. Question is, what role? Um,
I do have
yeah, if you have any
uh
skills that might be applicable to this.
yeah. I have get a hold of something.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
I could use my SSE connections and influence to kind of bully around a little bit and be like,
definitely.
who's on that ship?
Sure.
All right. That is a 17. That's a 19.
19. So you poke and prod a little bit. Maybe you have a hold of some things that you're probably not meant to. You look into some manifests, you borrow Yarrow for a little bit and He kind
Hey,
of
come here.
like
Don't ask any questions. Just I need you to type in these things in this order, okay?
yeah, very much. Here,
Okay.
you get pulled into Keane's orbit really quick, and it's just like I need you to type this, click here, do that. And it's just like streams of information. You see like the SSC logo pop up like multiple times and like a bright red like unauthorized thing, and then it like disappears as like Heaney like swipes a card across the data pad. Just like shrugs at you and you like keep typing. Eventually you do like get a hold of um not quite a flight manifest that's kind of like guarded a bit too heavily for you to go deeper without like tripping some firewalls and things like that. But it looks like they picked up someone of celebrity status. Um, no name is given, just like listed as like VIP. Um, and it has like the age of the individual. Um, they're like mid 20s, but like very, it's like what you get is like very promising like SSC like celebrity candidates that they want to use for like advertisements, and you get the feeling that's like maybe they weren't quite happy with your combat footage. I mean, all your grades are like kind of public to the sponsors. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so who's really to say like why they pick someone up like this?
Yeah. Okay. So Keone's immediately is like, they are going to they are trying to intimidate me by threatening me with a replacement. Got it. And she immediately, for however many days are left in this endeavor, she is like nose to grindstone. She even like she gets a little more like tense and stressed than she already was. And
Mhm.
on the day that they finally do arrive, she is so stressed and tensed that she only brushes and combs her hair 40 times instead of 70. And it's a big
Fantastic.
deal. So
Um, for the rest of you, like how do all of you react to like Keane's very visible shift in demeanor? You know,
she
like
tries
what?
hard not to make it your problem, but it does end up being your problem.
Yeah, very much that. So Gero, you were kind of like pulled into this first. How does Keane's like demeanor shift impact you?
I think it's pretty obvious that this happened because of what Keone asked me to do. But I don't think that Yarrow has that social nuance to put together that this is like a threat the way that Keone perceives it to be. So I think that Yarrow like goes to the other people in the house and is like, yeah, have you guys noticed that Keone is kind of acting a bit off recently?
True. How does this shift impact your schedule, what you've been doing? What's up?
I mean, like, I think True totally is like, yeah, like Keone's way uptight. Like, I don't know what's going on there,
Okay.
um, but I also think that in some ways, like True is also like, I'm super glad it's not my parent who is
Definitely. Definitely.
um, but yeah, I think that probably they are a little bit more like solicitous toward Keone. Like,
Mhm.
do you like? Did you finish this assignment? Like even like trying to distract him. Oh, can you help me? I didn't quite get this, and that sort of stuff.
Awesome. Sorry, my headphones dying. Give me 1 second to change this battery.
Keone appreciates that deeply. She won't tell you, but you can tell.
But it's in there somewhere.
It's in
Yeah.
there somewhere.
Yeah.
we're back. I love technical issues.
At least it's not me this week.
No, actually,
That was our one. We've got it clear.
that was
we're
our
all
one.
set.
We're
No,
done.
don't
That's
jinx
it.
it.
I'm knocking on wood. It's fine. Rose, how does this shift impact you? Do you try and like glean any information from Keone?
I think it depends on how much Keone
need to
is
stop.
telling us up front.
Okay.
Because if I wasn't present necessarily for Keone and Yarrow doing some perhaps not entirely above board system dive, I might not like necessarily know that there's sort of more secrets underground to glean, or I might if she's making that more public. I think in either case, uh Rose is very brought to mind of, I think, the type of kind of progressively more wound anticipatory stress that is starting to leak through is
Mhm.
putting Rose in mind a lot of her sister, and of the type of stress that Rose is not as familiar with her job and her work, but that Hyacinth, her sister,
Mhm.
very much would exhibit with like anticipating problems or reputational problems or getting corrected or replacement or something. And her solution to that is to kind of lean into all of the intensive reviewing that Keone has been doing, and a little bit a la True, help with distracting. So she's not trying to wear Keone out. That would also not be helpful, but is trying to kind of, you know, be is there sitting for a while, like going through tapes with her, reviewing things, throwing up hypothetical battle problems, so that there's at least a period of time where you have something else to think about and maybe not be as wound.
Yeah, I think like I said earlier, Keone, like the amount of stuff that has been piled on her head in the 2 or 3 weeks since we've gotten here, in addition to just like the pressure overall, Keone, like it's gone so rapidly downhill that like, and not that Keone's never faced hardship, certainly not, probably not anything like any of the rest of the squad. Like she's had a very easy life. But like whenever she's had a struggle before, like it's, conquerable, right? It's
Mhm.
something, she has connections, influence. Everything here has gone so downhill so fast for her. And again, not even to like bad, like it's not like we failed, but it's just like from A plus to C plus. Keone is legitimately like, this whole thing was a setup. And she like her whole assignment to this academy. So I don't think she would explicitly say that like, oh, these guys are gonna come in, they're gonna threaten to replace me or whatever, because she doesn't want to sound too paranoid. But
Mhm.
she will express to the whole team, again, just to, like, try and find that solidarity and be like, obviously there's no one else I can trust, and the three of you, we literally have to have each other's backs. So here's my best shot. She will explain like, parents are coming, they are disappointed, they will take it out on me, they will probably take it out on you. I'm sorry about that. I will take the brunt where I can. Like, I don't want this to fall on your heads. You guys, she wants to express like, genuinely, you guys, she believes you guys did like good work and we're a good team. She's like, and they are setting us up and I'm not going to stand for it and all that. So yeah,
All right.
very much appreciates the distraction.
Yeah. So, you know, all of Cradle, like House Cradle, has your back with this. Cradle being a small house, word does get around, and the four of you are told multiple times by the rest of the people in the house that like everyone has your back. Even you like comes out of the lab and is like expresses her like i- frustration with the situation and like sympathy, and is like you need anything, I can tell them that Oleander's like parameters got adjusted without anyone realizing, that kind of stuff. And she like very quickly like goes back to the lab as well. Um, so yeah, she's been spending a lot of time there. That's very apparent to like anyone in the house. But the day does finally come, and Peony is so tightly wound, like all of you can feel it. Everyone in the house is like very, very pretty much like walking on eggshells with each other. A fight almost breaks out, but very quickly like fizzles when they realize that there was like no actual reason to be fighting with each other. Everyone's just like very high strung. And then Kiani, you eventually get a little message on your data pad inviting you and the rest of your combat party to one of the meeting rooms.
Did they also get the invite, or do I have to forward it to them?
From what it looks like, you do have to forward it to them.
Okay, Keone does consider not doing that.
Okay.
And then and that's the paranoia speaking for sure, because again, her true belief is like, no, this is a good team. These are good people. So she takes like 2 steps in the direction of the meeting hall before she's like, and then
Yeah.
sends
So
out the messages.
the rest of you also get this blip on your data pad, and it like very obviously it says like forward, like from Kiani, and it's an invite that did not call any of you out by name. It just said Kiani and party, um, and none of you.
It's so bad.
Yeah,
Oh
you
no.
notice like none of you are listed in the attached as well. Bikini forwarded you this. You meet up with her in the lobby of Cradle, and you walk towards the meeting hall.
Rose has on our way to the meeting hall got this invite, got that it was forwarded by Kiani, did the mental math of how strange that's got to be for everybody involved, and I think turns up with like it looks like she's managed to fit in probably more than is necessarily like I don't know if allowed is the right word, but has detoured through like the cafeteria area
Mhm.
and taken and neatly packed like half of the dessert allotment away into a box.
Mhm.
And just as we're walking, holds it up and is like, all right, however this goes, we will have dessert afterwards and we
We
don't
do
have
have
to talk about it.
sweets.
We have sweets afterwards. We can go sit somewhere and not talk about it. It's going to be fine.
We've got your
Fantastic.
back.
I love it.
I just want to say I am very sorry about all this. This was not I was not supposed to be drawing this much attention here. I was just supposed to be a good student and a good pilot, and I don't know why this is happening, but thank you all for your camaraderie.
You don't have to apologize. It's okay. Thank you, but they should be apologizing to you. I'm sorry that you're in this situation.
Apologizing to me. Oh, that is funny. That's funny.
You all like get the immediate notion they have never apologized to Kiani for anything in their life. It's not in their vocabulary, except to other executives above them, and even then.
Right.
All right, so you get to this meeting room. They're more imposing than you would expect. They're kind of like a very like stereotypical like corporate meeting room, for lack of better phrasing. You've been into them for some lectures here and there, but they all have shutters that drop down, and then it's like an all around display. Currently, these ones are up, so you can see out over the courtyard. You can see a combat training going on in the distance. It looks like Oleander is still going pretty hard on people right now, from what you can see. You see a very similar like setup to what you all went against. If you kind of like flick on your data pad, you can see like a video stream of it, and it has the statistics of like both sides. It is not a duel; it is like an actual training combat, and Oleander is going up or has pitted some special forces against some of the more senior students. It's like if you didn't have something to do like right this very minute, it would be like a worthwhile watch. But You enter the room, which is noticeably cooler than the rest of the hallway. Um, and you see two. Edie, what do your parents look like? The
Uh,
rest of you like immediately know these are high ranking SSC individuals. They have the insignia. They are very like put together. They have a certain stance um, that is very practiced, very proper, and they're here on business, not here
yeah,
for leisure.
I think the first striking thing, Keone is like, you know, blonde, like statuesque, slightly tan, kind of LA like supermodel look. And I think the striking thing about her parents, like I think you guys might almost walk in the room, and if it weren't for the suits, you would be like, where are her parents? Like they do not look anything like her. Uh her mom is like a lot paler with bright curly orange hair that's like perfectly kind of styled in this weird uh, shape. I don't know what it's supposed to represent, maybe a cloud or like a ship or something, futury and spacey. And then her dad is like uh I don't know if we have Japan in the future, but like Japanese heritage, very like um sharp features, short kind of that like swoop pompadour hair, and just both of them look completely like there's absolutely no way that those two people could produce Keone as like a genetic product, except that SSC is like really big into gene editing
Yeah,
and
it it
bioengineering.
your however much you paid attention in your history classes, you all like think back. One of the products that the SSC has, and I use products very loosely, is like they sell genomes. So it kind of dawns on you all that there is a possibility that Keone was like more or less genetically engineered to be the perfect daughter. Um, which I'll let your characters kind of like sit with that realization for a little bit. Actually, what how do each of your characters like internally like this realization of like the people in front of you versus the person like you've come to know and become, I hesitate to use the word like very good friends with, but like a very good like classmates with, this dichotomy.
Keone definitely would have forgotten to mention this because obviously it's completely normal to
Fair.
her.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You all are completely separate in terms of the big four. Each of you represent something different. So it is very interesting to come into a very stark reminder of how different um, everyone can be despite being part of the union. So, anyway, um, your parents see you and then immediately, Guinea, have a seat. The rest of you as well, please.
Keone sits.
Do the rest of you sit? What do you say?
I think True is like on their very best behavior, like surprisingly.
Oh yeah,
I
surprisingly,
think
yeah.
they
Okay.
like they like did laundry ahead of time. They have like a clean, like pressed like uniform on, like everything's kind of squared off and perfect. Because they kind of know like if it was their dad visiting, like this
Mm-hmm.
is what
Mm,
would be expected. Like the appearances are really, really important. Um,
okay.
and they're like, yeah, I'm gonna like in their head somewhere, they're like, I don't want to disappoint Keone by showing up bad in front of her parents.
All right. Rose. How do you approach this situation?
I think Rose has almost like metaphorically switched places with True a little bit, which I love. Uh, I think in contrast, she has started to doesn't want to explode anything because this anything that she explodes would reverberate back on all four of them, and that's not fair.
Mhm.
But is certainly like sits very slowly, I think kind of consciously, not it's not technically disrespectful, but is like sitting a little bit cat a corner in the not in that prime position that I feel
Mhm.
like it's almost indicated we should take of like here is where to sit to be chastised and talked to, is kind of sitting a little bit cat a corner to the side, still very present, but uh, wants to be just the tiniest bit menacing.
Awesome. Yarrow.
I think in his shock of the like difference between um, the look of Keone and her parents, Yara has fallen back on uh, the traditions of courtesy from Amber, his home
Mhm.
planet, and he has we have like hats here, right?
Yeah,
Like cadet hats. So I
if you want
imagine
to.
Yara has his hat like in his hand, like clutching it to his chest. And as they're sitting down, they sort of like extend their hand and say, it's so good to meet the parents of my good friend, Keone.
They look between each other for a moment, kind of like not surprised, but questioning whether or not to shake your hand. And eventually, Keone's father does. Is a very quick, just like up and down motion, and then he sits back down. Um, and they all look at you in turn. Hmm. Seems you've been having fun, Keone.
Ooh, ooh, oh God, having fun. I don't know how Kiona responds to that. I think she just kind of lifts her chin and just, I've been focusing on my studies.
Have you now? And we're supposed to be okay with a C plus in combat. The sole reason we sent you here?
Was our first combat. I was given a defective chassis, and the intelligence running this program tipped the scales against us. I don't know why they would do that.
Well, you of all people should be prepared for anything in the field. We raised you as such.
You didn't raise me. She says that real quiet, but probably it still comes through.
Speak up. It doesn't fit you to mutter.
You're right. I'm a spokeswoman. That's what I do, right? I speak. Well, you didn't raise me. So I don't know what interest you have in steering me now.
Hmm. Quite an unbecoming tongue you've learned here. Would be a shame if your time was cut short. But we've invested far too much money in this academy to pull you now. Fortunately.
You, oh, how do I say this? It would be unfortunate, yes, if your billion mana pet project failed in the first month of her tenure here and you had to pull her. It'd be embarrassing, don't you think? Word would get around the OmniNet. You'd think you would
Exactly
want to set
how
up a
would it?
project like that to succeed.
Hmm. Yes, and we would expect it to succeed. Not our fault if it doesn't.
Then allow me the space to succeed.
Hmm.
Been deployed with a good team. We have excellent metrics in most of the recorded fields. And we will continue to elevate our performance and impress.
An excellent team, you say? I seem to remember, and they pull up a very fancy looking data pad. I seem to remember your team consisting of a truant soldier. He looks pointedly at True, a backwater farmer, and the daughter of a mining company. Well, one of the daughters, anyway.
The academy is called Orion. It's a constellation.
Yes.
All the stars need to play their part.
Hmm. Well, maybe we should add our own stars to the mix. Give you some motivation for your time here. If you don't improve and, well, fix whatever's going on here, you might need to find new sponsorships, dear daughter.
Easily.
Well, now as good a time as any. Um, shall we introduce you to someone who's going to be heading some of our new ventures, shall we say? Um, and the door opens, and someone who looks very similar to Rose steps in.
Oh, I
Um,
didn't see that.
this is Hyacinth Monroy. I'm sure some of you are already acquainted. And your Rose, your sister, walks in, spots you, and is like, "What's up, sis? I got bored of being bored, so here I am."
Rose, at the earlier mention about 45 seconds earlier of one of the daughters, had gone like kind of pale and then started to like slightly tap out of the conversation, got
Mhm.
lost in thought, and then immediately gets
It's like, there's no
wrenched
way.
wrenched back into the room about
Yeah.
as violently as possible. You see, like, her chair has been leaning back, the legs slam down onto the floor,
Yeah, you all hear an
as
audible.
yeah, as she just like jumps, kind of steadies herself on this table. What are you doing here?
Yeah. No, I gave it some thought, and the academy might be like a really cool thing to do. I know I kind of left in a hurry, and I'm sorry. But it got kind of boring. I was Traveling's really boring.
It got kind of boring.
Yeah, it got boring.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Maybe you should have thought of that
Okay.
before you abdicated your responsibilities and left. What are you doing here? You can't just
I
go
mean,
back on your decision like that. At least have the guts to stick with it.
well, I can. I did. I'm here. So I don't know. What do you mean? Thought you'd be happy to see me. We haven't seen each other in so long.
Yeah, sure. I'm happy you're safe. But this is my thing now. You left. I took it. Mine. No take backsies.
Oh, I wasn't gonna take it from you. You can still be a student. You'll
It
just be
really feels like you're going to take it from me. I'm going to be
no.
honest.
I'm being bankrolled by these guys now.
That doesn't make it feel better. That makes it feel worse. That also makes it feel
Oh,
worse about my friends. I feel like you're taking it
well,
from me a bit.
no. I'm not trying to take your little friends. I'm not even gonna be in Cradle. I wouldn't want to be in Cradle. I'm really sorry they stuck you in Cradle.
Hey, Cradle's awesome. You should want to be in Cradle.
Mm,
Cradle's the best.
Not according to the leaderboards. They're sticking me in Europa.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, like stick
This
their
is a
tongue out at you.
this is a joke, right? Keone looks at her parents. You cannot replace me with some. And then she like looks at Rose before finishing that thought. With her.
Keone, you of all people should know we do not jest.
Keone looks at Rose. What like, not that we've necessarily gotten so close as to have like twin telepathy, but like what kind of expression, what do we communicate when we beam each other's eyes up in here? Are we in
Ooh.
solidarity on this, or are we like, is this
I think there's definitely a weird tear going on in Rose. There is like some level of genuine, like, well, she didn't run off and get herself, like killed or exploded in the middle of space as a
Mhm.
baseline. That's nice.
Yeah,
I think
sisterly
that's
love.
I think that's been, a little bit just brewing at the back of Rose's mind for a few weeks. Just it's not the first time by far Hyacinth has done something, but certainly the first time she's done something like this. But in this particular moment, it's just this very, very siblingy fury of just how dare you, who have had such a clear path, and sure, a restrictive path and a difficult path, but you made the choice to step off it. Maybe I even respected that a little bit. I don't respect this. I can't respect this.
She's pissing you off in a way only a sister can.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's leaving, running away. Rose was mad about that. Could at least follow the through line of, okay, maybe you were just trapped and you needed to leave. This is just, oh, you just do whatever you want and you don't care what it does to anybody else. So she's furious and very willing to be on Keone's side for this.
Anyway, like I was saying, you should be happy I'm here. I don't know. Maybe a little sibling rivalry. Maybe your grades will go up. Not that great.
are the rest of Yarrow's siblings going to walk in next?
Oh, please.
Really? Are they here?
Oh, Yarrow, that's a bad.
Oh.
Maybe it would be nice.
No.
Okay.
We have one obligation for charity a year. We met it a while ago.
That's pretty funny. A while ago does twig in Keone's mind, and she like, I think she like glasses over basically. She goes very still and frozen.
Dear daughter, well, I feel this has been quite enlightening. So, if you want to stay here, your friends, prove it. We'd be more than happy to find the next sunburst if we need to.
Are we done here?
I believe so.
Keone does not, despite saying that, Keone does not move to leave.
Rose, I think, immediately stands up, picks up the massive box of desserts, is looking at Yarrow and True like, do we want to? Do we feel like we want to
Yeah.
out? Yarrow, do you know anywhere we can go where we can hang out in private? She says, loud enough for Hyacinth to hear.
Go to the
Hey,
greenhouse.
that's mean.
That sounds good, Yarrow. Let's do that. Oh, I'm so sorry. That was mean. Walks right out the door.
All right. All four of you
Head to
walk
the
out.
greenhouse.
And head to the greenhouse. All right. What is going through all of your minds after this encounter with not only Keone's parents, but two like very executive SSC partners? Um, True. We'll start with you this time.
I mean, I don't think True is that impressed by Keone's parents.
Probably
Um,
not, honestly.
yeah, like they're like, oh, okay, fine, executives, whatever. Um, I
I
I
mean, your
I think
father is Cordis Brigand.
right, exactly.
Like,
So so she's just like, sure, and I think you know, Keone's parents have kind of like stature and money and that kind of stuff, but True's dad has like a lot of influence.
mhm.
um so like True is just like, well, that's what parents are like, of course they came and ruined things. um and to be honest, they were kind of on the edge of their seat the whole time. Like, please, please, please do not let my dad walk in the door next after Rose's sister came in. And I think when Rose's sister first came in, True definitely did that like tennis match thing where it's like, wait, what? What? Because I'm not sure that they ever talked close enough that True would have known that Rose's sister was a twin, right?
Mm,
That um and so yeah, like at this point they're kind of like, okay, I'm over like being like, perfect good person. Definitely as they walk out the door, like True goes like, like, I'm watching you to Hyacinth and kind of like throws their arm around Keone as they walk out.
Arrow, going through your head.
I think that Yarrow is like really thrown by
Mhm.
this interaction. Like, there's so much hostility. There was so much hostility in the room, and I don't think that they were very used to that um, between family members,
Okay,
and they
definitely.
are, and they're very much like, yeah, I we have to like beat them, right? We have to
Like,
get a
prove them
higher
wrong.
score.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
That'll show your parents what y- like how much better you are.
mhm. Rose, going through your head, especially since your sister's back.
Rose, as aforementioned, I think is kind of just bouncing off the walls.
Mhm,
It's anger and frustration, which aren't exactly the same.
mhm.
And she is sticking very close to everybody else. But I think right leading up to this, even with Keone being stressed, had kind of just hit the stride of feeling very secure and sure here in her learning, and now all of that is wiped. It's anger, frustration, some sadness, just that Hyacinth would revert course like this in such a way that, like, she is surely smart enough to know all of the things at play here. She's smart enough to know what an underhanded move this is with Keone, and that's not the type of person that Rose hoped her sister would wind up being, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I
So
got definitely.
a lot of righteous fury, and then also just so much pettiness. This is so annoying.
It's your sister.
She's taking my toys. She's taking my toys from me.
She's taking my toys and I don't want to share.
She's crossing the line in the backseat of the car.
I'm not touching you. Except she's like has her hand in your face.
Exactly.
Yeah. Akiane, how did that go with your parents?
Yeah, Keeney's all of her worst fears have been confirmed. She is full conspiracy theory mode. She definitely needs the arm from True to get out of there because she would not leave otherwise. She uh is if she could talk, there is like still a level of entitlement in her where she like even though she does genuinely appreciate Rose, she's also like, how are they replacing me with this hick minor? Uh, and if she was talking, she would probably be mumbling about that in a way that might get her in trouble. But by the time we get to the greenhouse, she is having a like just a full panic attack for probably the first time in her life. And she's like starting to shake and her eyes are unfocused and she like grips a counter and like stares into a flower and is just like not speaking, not interacting at all.
You hear like a pretty much the complete opposite of like what your parents are. You hear a like very sweet voice from the far end of the greenhouse and be like, "Careful not to get too close to that one. It tends to cause allergies." And like this woman who, if you look for like 2 seconds, like very closely resembles Yarrow, comes over, and she has a little name tag. It says Willow because I don't believe any of the rest of you have actually met Willow yet. So Yarrow, you see your sister come over, who you may or may not have texted on the way here. Like, do I have tea for you? Um, and she like assesses Keone really quick and like pulls like a vial out from her like waistcoat, uncaps it and just like waves it under Keone's nose. You kind of like jerk back really quick. Um it's functions more or less like a smelling salt and like kind of snaps you out of it, but it doesn't hurt. It smells like very faintly of mint and something else you can't quite place. Um, and she's like, "Oh, good, that one works."
I don't have any allergies. I'm also immune to the common cold.
Hmm, interesting. I might have to have you test some things later. Anyway, and she like scribbles something on her data pad, and she's like, "All right, so file 132. Are you feeling lightheaded after that at all?"
Honestly, the smelling salts kicked her out of it, but I think like becoming an impromptu test subject is making it worse. And she kind of just like looks over at Willow and just starts shaking again. It's just like eyes now wide and she's kind of freaking out.
It's like, no, 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 no. It's just meant to like break you out of your stupor. There's nothing harmful about it, and you have no allergies, so there's really nothing harmful about it. I assure you.
She just like gargoyle rotates toward the rest of the team and is like, I'm I I'm being sabotaged.
I don't think that's what I was trying to do. I
Willow,
apologize if
let
it came off
me
that way.
yeah, let me just let's go over here. I think I need to fill you in on a
You
few
told
things.
me you had tea to tell me.
Yes, I'm gonna spill it right now. Just
I assume it has to do with your friends. They can come too. We have plenty of food.
you guys like some tea?
I would love some tea.
Oh, like real tea.
Yes, realty. I apologize for the. I'll. She like flicks something up at her data pad, and you get like a ping that your house earned like 3 points for volunteer work. Um,
Oh.
and she's like, "All right, all right, all right. Tea time, tea time." And she brings you to the back of the greenhouse. So in the back of the greenhouse, it looks like a smaller greenhouse, which is very noticeably cooler, a little less humid, and it looks like there's kind of a living situation set up. And Willow explains that she like has permission to live here full time because she takes care of the plants. There's like some stuff that's a little bit more delicate. And also, she's not a student, she's faculty, so their living situations are a bit flexible. But she starts steeping some tea, and it smells lovely. It's very floral, a little bit citrusy, um, kind of just like sets you at ease a little bit. You kind of just like kind of for the first time in probably a solid hour or so are able to just sit and breathe for a moment. And she, crosses her legs, pours everyone a cup, and is like, "Tell me everything." And is there anything you leave out, or do you recount basically like the last hour or so?
I think Rose is leaving a lot of this telling to Yarrow and is also very a little bit akin to when True is doing the tennis match back and forth, has realized that Yarrow and Willow know each other and is doing the like,
Mhm.
"So when you mentioned the siblings earlier, but is and thus is trying to let him lead that spilling of tea, metaphorical, hopefully not literal. This is
Yeah.
very hot liquid.
Yeah, and like True, like follows along with this, sits down and takes like a sip of the tea, and it's absolutely delicious. And I think True says, "Okay, another sibling. We like this one though, right?" To Yarrow.
Yeah.
Yara's like,
Willow's
yes,
amazing.
yes. Yeah, so Willow, takes all this in, like, doesn't ask any questions, just lets Yarrow talk the entire time. Like, make sure Keone is okay. Once once Keeney's settled down a little bit, she like gives her a glass. Like, drink this, it'll help, and then just sit and calm down for a moment. Yarrow's recounting the events of the past hour. Um, and she's like making faces. She's like, "Oh my gosh, way!" Very animated, very like calming to talk to. As you're like sitting with her, you also notice like a very faint smell of mint around the area, mint and lavender. Um, and you look around, you see like some mint and lavender plants, and it like kind of dawns on you that maybe she brought all three of you back here for a reason, specifically probably to calm down a little bit. Um, and you're just like, Gero, how do you get involved in all of this? Even back home.
What do you mean?
The-
I don't go
These
looking for
things are
stuff like
just
this.
like, they're just drawn to you, though. What are you doing?
I
I
I
love
don't
it,
know.
don't get me wrong.
I know you do. That's why I give you all of the details, but I think I just have like a sixth sense. You know what they
Mm,
say? Like the fifth
much like
sibling.
Godzilla.
Exactly, the fifth sibling is like Godzilla.
Hmm.
That's what everyone back home says.
Exactly. Well, do I have a bit of tea for you too? Oh gosh, I'm blanking on her name. That one girl obsessed with NHPs in Cradle. What your house, you know her. I don't know her name. That one girl
Oh,
obsessed.
you.
Yes, yes, that one. No. Well, yes, her. Not you. Yes. Um,
Waiting for that this whole
yes.
time.
Who's on
But
first?
she's been like locked in the NHP lab for the past like week. I haven't seen her come out. And it's like I see everyone that goes in or out. She hasn't come out. What is she doing? I know Oleander is getting cycled, but like I thought they were like ready for that. That's a regular thing that happens.
I think that Yarrow is like, yeah, I don't know either. And maybe he turns to True and says, do you know what's going on with you?
Oh, no, I don't know. I mean, you told
And they're like
me
close, right?
they were gonna, I guess for a value of close, you could say. Um, I mean, I like you. Um, they're a little intense, um, says
Hmm.
the person who is like super brash. And
Says the Farfield team member.
right, exactly. um, but no, I honestly, I just thought they liked their work and was really close with Oleander.
Hmm. Well, they're part of your house. I don't know. If you get the chance, maybe check up on them. Couldn't hurt. It might. I don't know. I hate to see students studying too hard. It makes them dull, uninteresting. No offense.
I really like her. She was like, yeah, yeah, I really like. It's really good to meet you, Willow.
You too, darling. But well, if you all need anything, don't hesitate to ask me. I do have connections. What those connections are, she does not say. um, like I'll be here tending to my flowers.
Ominous yet exciting. I think Rose has been in the background, just has been waiting to see if it's like a no or not, but has been occasionally like plucking a couple flowers to take back, but also is not trying to like if Willow gives her a look, she'll stop. But it's just
Darling, if I didn't want anyone to take any, I would have signs up. Please take what you want.
oh
Just
good.
leave
Thank
some for
you.
others.
Of course. Thanks. Thanks.
He like hands you a little pot. You like notice off to the side there's like a stack of small pots that like don't have anything in them. She like hands you one to like plant in your room. But after meeting with Willow, what how are y'all feeling? What's the vibe afterward? You're with her for probably a little over an hour, probably close to an hour and a half, just relaxing, debriefing, kind of just talking things out.
Yeah, Keone is not talking for a long time of that. Uh, I think only toward the end of like when we're like, oh, we got to get to our next thing. She like comes out of her stupor, staring at the tea, which she's only sipped a little bit of, and she, yeah, I think she has like tears welling up in her eyes, and she just says to everyone's like, I don't understand what I did to make them hate me so much.
Oh dear. Parents are, mm, well, they're people. Not always good people, and not always easy to talk to.
No, I mean they're not. I mean they're biologically my parents, but I was raised by a long line of nurses and nannies and maids and other interns, and I we've never been warm, but I do the work I'm given and they seem happy with that, and I don't understand why all of a sudden they sent me here and set me up to fail so that they could get. They said that they had been planning this for a while. They contracted your sister before all of this, Rose. This was all part of the plan. They're trying to jettison me, and I don't even know why. I don't
Hey,
even
I
know why.
I can't I can't pretend to know why I don't know them, but I know it's cruel and it's not fair to you. I mean, I care cuz you care. I'm not going to say I don't care why, but it's cruel no matter what the reason, and I'm sorry. And we're going to kick some ass so that they can never talk to you that way again because that sucks.
Willow like pipes up and it's like, Keely, what have you done for yourself. You've done everything that your parents ask of you and you've excelled, but what have you done for you?
I don't understand the question.
The question is as stated. You are your own person, not an extension of them.
Yeah.
So, well, not to be harsh, but act like it.
Yeah. Right. That easy.
Hmm. It doesn't have to be easy, but you do have a group of friends who will support you through it.
You know, one of Union's pillars is no human shall be held in bondage by labor or debt or my entire DNA sequence is a registered trademark of the Thorn Division. I am not my own person. And if I'm not their person either, I don't think I exist. And she starts ugly crying. Just complete breakdown. The like perfect princess look fails.
Very,
And
very
she just
like Studio Ghibli, like
complete
ugly
yeah.
sobbing.
Yeah. With the big she just completely loses it. And
If Keone is open to it, Yarrow would like to go in for a hug.
oh yeah. All barriers gone. She clings to you like a child.
Group hug time.
Can
Just like a
we get a
group
group
hug, of,
hug?
like all four of you.
I think that is
Yeah,
actually quite reassuring.
Rose goes in for a hug while very carefully holding the very thorny flowers that she has taken out of danger so that she does not harm any of you by mistake.
Yeah, I mean, I like True throws themselves in there too, and they're also kind of like to Keone. So, you know, like if you want some lessons on just like running away from home and abdicating responsibility, I can totally help you with that.
Yeah, I'm a good student. I'll learn.
True's like, you gotta stop with that right now.
Just lesson
First
number
lesson,
one.
stop.
That's the problem.
First lesson, enough of that. Yeah, so you have this cry sesh, this group hug, this heart to heart. And Willow like stays back from it. She's like, this is your time. And like when you like kind of come out of it, like you notice Willow's gone. Yarrow like sees a message and it's like, stay as long as you want, but I have like business to attend to. And then like that's that with the greenhouse, unless there's anything else that you all are doing in the greenhouse.
I think just whenever we elect to leave, Rose certainly at some point leans over to Yarrow and just whispers, "Your sister's really cool."
I like her. Yeah. Too.
Awesome. I think that is probably a good spot to take a quick 10-minute break, and then we will dive right back in.
Bye, everybody.
See y'all in a bit. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. All right. So we just wrapped up in the greenhouse, had a little bit of a heart to heart. Lovely, lovely time. While you were in there, you're kind of like checking like the group message that Cradle has going, and recently it's kind of been peppered with like requests for you to like come back to the house at some point. Just because and she's sent back like, no, like my work is like really important right now, I can't just like leave. And everyone's like kind of trying to be like, your work will be there, come eat dinner. And she's like, I'll just go to the cafeteria. So there's been a lot of that, like back and forth, while you've kind of been preoccupied. Um, so
How long is it, just for reference, how long is it till that big cycling that seems to it seems to be a pretty
um,
major NHP event, so it would be
yeah,
understandably taking up a lot of her bandwidth.
the cycling's about 3 days away. Yeah. But yeah, so you're at the greenhouse. NHP lab is like relatively close by, which is why like Willow kind of keeps track of who's in there. And then the cafeteria is like right across the way as well.
I think depending on I think based on the number of group chat messages that are also going off, kind of corroborating Willow's gossip. Not that we don't trust Willow. At this point, I think I trust Willow with my life. Uh, Rose would certainly be inclined to say that maybe we should go on a hunt for you, but it might depend on like, are we getting back post this conversation like very late? How Keany is doing, uh,
Yeah,
where we're at.
yeah.
Like
This
if we
conversation
need to
is like,
sleep, if we need to sleep on it or not.
yeah, this conversation's happening like right after the events of the greenhouse. You walk out of the greenhouse and you're like checking your data pad as you're like walking out and towards your dorm, but you're still relatively close by. Um, one of the, you go and like view use status, and it says like busy, do not disturb. They have not the messages blocked, but like they have a message saying like, I won't see your message until like I go to sleep, basically. If you need me, don't. Which is very like um college student deep in the throes of whatever they're working on, probably neglecting at least one, possibly multiple of their current like needs. Um, the other thing that jumps to the forefront of your mind is the NHP lab is restricted access, in the days following up to Oleander's cycling. Only those with like an elevated access are allowed like anywhere near um, the NHP's facility.
Sensing a pattern. Something fishy's going on.
Yeah, I feel like I definitely think that when Willow mentioned you, like True was probably just like, oh, they're busy, whatever. But kind of mentioned this. And
Mhm.
so now it like piques their interest. I think they would say, hey, I think I'm gonna like grab a tray of food and go over to the NHP lab and maybe see what is happening with you.
I just want to point out also, in case we lost it in the montage from the start of this episode, you also specifically offered to like falsify Oleander's telemetry to make us look better, which at the time was like, that's a weird offer, but thanks. I guess that's your hyperfixation. And now is kind of like, that's a really weird offer. Just want to put that out there.
That's a good point.
Who's
Yeah,
to
that
say?
had I got him briefly. Thank you for reminding me of that. I got him briefly swept away in the blinding rage of my sister's appearance.
Yeah, and he was still going hard on the other. Like, I think we can see a through line there.
I will certainly tag along with you. Sorry, with True. I will tag along with you, Shu.
Yeah. So, is anyone else like hoping to join? Is anyone like going back to the dorm?
Yeah, if Keone is feeling better, I would join. But if Keone needs like a shoulder or like an ear, uh, to talk through some of her feelings, then Yarrow would definitely be that person.
Oh, I mean, she definitely does need that, but I also think she's like already like opened way too much today,
Mhm.
and she's like, we gotta pull it together. So she'll tidy herself up and she'll take the distraction instead.
Okay. So the four of you,
She says thank you.
grab a tray of food, and you go over to the NHP lab. It's a relatively plain, although you can see kind of like the some of the telemetry through the windows. They're not like fully blacked out at the moment, although they are like dim, so you'd have to kind of like peer in, and it'd be very obvious you were like looking into the laboratory. Um, and there's someone outside, kind of like standing guard, shoulders crossed, or like arms crossed, shoulders like kind of up high. And they're like, y'all know the drill. Like, no one allowed without explicit, like, authorized access. Which pulls up a data pad. From the looks of it, only one of you have. So,
It's
looks
fun.
like normally we're open for tours. Right now, sorry, it's too close to cycling. We can't afford like anything going askew.
I mean, we're just here
Um,
like we're gonna, use been in there, use in our
I know
cohort.
rules are rules. If you want to take the food tour, you're more than welcome to, but the three of y'all are going to have to wait here. I'm sorry.
I am looking around desperately trying to clock which of us is being spoken to as the one with access, because that's new to
Oh,
me.
true is being spoken to.
Delightful. Good to know.
Which
The
actually True is also looking around like, wait, what? Oh,
um
me? I
that
am.
yeah, you you look on your data pad and there's like a passkey that you were given at some point. Despite Yarrow having like elevated access, it seems like True is currently the only one that's like allowed in.
Okay. And then True is gonna try and play that off like she knew all along. Like, yeah, okay. I mean, I was just hanging out with rest of my group, but you guys go ahead. I'll catch up with you later.
All right, and the individual like steps to the side, waves you in, like kind of gives like a shrug to the rest of y'all. And True, you step into the NHP lab. It's very it's simultaneously overwhelming and underwhelming. There is a lot of monitors. There is a lot of data, kind of like scrolling by on screens. You see like metal casings with like what looks like little power cores slotted in. There's a couple like different cores laying around. There's wires and tubes, and it's you don't know what you're looking at. This isn't your area of expertise. It's you've been paying attention in class, but it's still like far beyond what you're comfortable with. And you start walking through this lab. There's a couple people who look up at you and like kind of cock their head a little bit, but then go back down at their work. Like one person like gives you a friendly little wave and then turns back to their computer. Looks like everyone is like really putting in some overtime hours here, getting ready for the cycling. There's like some written like countdowns, some calculations on whiteboards, and just like data pads kind of haphazardly like thrown across tables. Plenty of what would be the equivalent of takeout from the cafeteria. Just like half-eaten drinks, just like sitting there, condensation like building on the cups and ice melting. Um, and you know, what's going through your mind, like taking all of this in? It's very alien from anything you've seen thus far.
Yeah, I mean, I think like true like NHPs are always just in there, right? Like
Hmm.
True doesn't really think um too much or too deeply about them. And doesn't really actually think that much about like their upkeep, I guess you would say, like with the
Sure.
cycling and those kinds of things. So like she's looking around and sort of like clocking like different things. Um I think sort of similar to Rose, True would absolutely be way more interested in the hardware as opposed to the software. So like anybody kind of like working on a computer or like doing coding or stuff, like True's kind of skips over them. But like anything that looks really interesting, that's
Hmm.
like that like is actual hardware, um would True would be clocking that and then kind of also looking for you at the same time as they like walk through here and kind of like somewhere in the back of their head, they really think like at any minute someone's gonna be like, "What are you doing here? You don't belong here." So they're kind of trying to keep moving, like don't show like too much interest and like a salute or whatever. Like if they pass someone or if someone looks up at them.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Yeah, so you're, kind of taking a little bit of a closer look, and some of the writing is familiar to you. One of the things that sticks out like very prominently is something that just reads like NHP casing. And it looks like at least some of these are housing units for individual NHPs, which you remember like while they don't have a physical form, they do have to be physically transferred from place to place. You cannot like send NHPs over the OmniNet. It's highly illegal and very, very dangerous to give them unrestricted access like that. So they are housed in these. Basically, they look like little fuel canisters that shimmer with some otherworldly light, depending on like what's inside. Um, there's a couple that look like backups for Oleander. They're labeled with Oleander. It just says like Oleander backup units. And you get like closer to what you can assume is the back of the lab. Excuse me. And you hear what sounds like you voice talking with another individual. Very like gruff, masculine. From what it sounds like, very like battle hardened voice. Definitely seen some action. And yeah, are you trying to announce your presence? Are you trying to maybe like listen a little bit closer? What's the vibe that you're kind of pulling?
I mean, they're not trying to be stealthy, but also they're not like calling out. Um,
Mhm.
they're moving closer and definitely trying to eavesdrop.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a check to act unseen or
Okay.
unheard. Um, if you have an applicable trigger, feel free to bring it up now. Otherwise, it's going to be flat d20. 10 or above is a success.
Um, I do not have an applicable
All
trigger.
right. Just give me a flat d20 then.
11
11. Okay.
just made it.
Um, so you round the corner, and as you get closer, the voice becomes a bit more distinguishable. It sounds very, very familiar. A voice you've heard, or well, you haven't heard in a very long time, but one you still hear in the back of your head every now and then. It sounds like your father.
Yeah. Yeah, that's and like True's like, I guess I spoke too quickly and when I was talking to Keone, thinking like, oh, I'm glad my dad's not here. Um, they are like I think if you could see them, you would see that they like visibly kind of like marshal themselves and like straighten up, straighten their shoulders. I think they're really glad that they wore that like dress uniform.
Mhm.
um, and then they are absolutely gonna just like push through, bang through the door into this room and be like, "Hey, Dad, what's up?"
You as you burst into this room, you see you like whip around like a deer in headlights, and you see like a hollow disc in her hand, and there's sure enough like a holographic image of your father, who looks a little bit surprised to see you, and like opens his mouth to say something, and you like clicks the hollow disc off immediately. Like, I that's not what it looks like.
Yeah, sure, it's not. I
Um,
mean,
I,
like I didn't accuse you of being a spy for him the first like 5 minutes that we met each other, and you didn't say that, who even is your dad.
uh, well, I don't have much to say to that, but I mean, I have to be bankrolled by someone, and he just wanted me to keep an eye on you. I wasn't gonna tell him what you're up to. I didn't
Not,
much.
not up to anything, just being a student.
I am too. I'm still a student here. Just been very busy working on Oleander
Right.
and driving me up a wall.
So he didn't want to know anything else.
Not about you.
I mean,
You.
like, what did he promise you? 'Cause, I mean, I
Uh,
know my dad. Like, he doesn't just go in and like ask people to do him favors and like out of the goodness of their hearts. He always either has something on them or promises them something. So what was it? What was it?
well, he promised, and she like looks back at like Oleander and like the casings like strewn about, like that I'd work on a really cool NHP and develop some cutting edge technology that would secure me a place under him.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
it.
I mean, and that's where
Yeah,
you want to be. That's cool under his thumb. I left because that wasn't what I wanted to do.
yeah. It's not that. Well, I mean, yeah, it's cool. I'm working on cool stuff. I've been
Mhm.
here for a week and a half straight, but it's cool. Notice like her hair is a little bit greasy, and there's like some takeout containers just like strewn about. Not a vegetable to be seen, mind you. Like yeah. But hey, it'll be really good for my career.
I'm sure. Uh, what
Well,
what are you supposed to what information are you supposed to tell him?
To be quite honest, he was surprised that you were here in the first place.
I mean, I didn't really think I had much of a choice.
He's also surprised you didn't run away given the first chance.
I tried that.
Yes, I did let him know that.
Um,
I-
okay.
Mhm.
Uh, you know what? My dad's really influential. He's really convincing. Um, and like honestly, I don't blame you for wanting to try to get your foot in the door for your career. But like maybe we just work together on what information you actually give to him.
She thinks for a moment. She's like, I could be convinced to do that. What you do know him better than anyone, so
Yeah.
sure.
I mean, like obviously he would be totally suspicious if you were like too nice and like gave me like too many praises. Did you tell him about the C plus?
Yes, and he was both proud and disappointed. I
Yeah.
couldn't quite figure that one out.
Yeah, I mean, a C plus is like probably the best grade I've ever gotten. So,
Hmm.
you know, like I'm pretty proud of that, especially since I didn't really intend to come here to truly like study. Um, and just maybe like honestly, I don't even know if I want him to know if I'm doing that good. So like maybe we could just kind of downgrade all of my grades a bit.
Sure. She's like very confused by this notion, but she's like, sure, I can do that. Yeah. Um yeah, sorry. This is I don't know. I expected you to hit me with that. And she like looks down at the food tray in your hand. She's like,
And like True totally forgot she was holding this. Oh no, this is like about you dinner or lunch or
"Oh,
whatever it is that you
I
haven't eaten.
think it's dinner time." She like looks at the computer and like types something. She's like, dinner time.
Yeah.
Well, I should. Yes, I'll eat. Thank you. I'm sorry. There's been a really weird bug that I'm trying to like figure out. Nothing serious, but it's causing Oleander to be like a little more aggressive with the combat simulations. Um, so uh,
Noticed.
you probably would have done better than a C plus. Just saying,
Yeah.
probably like a B plus. Him throwing a hive and a pyro class mech was a bit much for your first combat.
I mean, it was kind of fun actually. But
It was very
because it
entertaining.
was simulated, you know.
Yes, yeah, yeah. It's well, the rounds they fire are real. I hope you know that.
Yes. But
Yeah,
there's still a measure of safety.
there is. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There are limiters, but you will feel it in the morning. Anyway,
Oh, I just like one other like super small favor.
yeah,
Could you possibly just like as part of our deal, um, grant Keone and Rose and do you wait, actually sorry above table. Keith, do your character already does have a measure of um access
To this room?
like in general?
Yarrow has
Yeah.
like some measure, but not like what you had.
Okay. Um,
Yeah, like oh yeah,
could you, yeah, just Keone, Rose, and Yarrow, like we just kind of all be like at the same like access level.
Yeah, I honestly thought I gave everyone in Cradle. Honestly, I might have just been very sidetracked. Um, anyway, yes, I'll do that once I finish debugging this. But yes, anyway, back to it. Thank you for dinner. Sorry about your father. I'll
Yeah,
I'll call him back and
expected of him. Like I
yeah.
totally figured he'd probably have a spy somewhere.
That's really unfortunate to prove you right. All
But
right.
hey, good luck with that with him.
Thanks. Yeah, I'll heed your warnings or try to. You know. Yeah. Thank you. And she like turns back to her computer.
And I think like True just kind of like ambles back like to the entrance and um like says, "Hey, see you later." Like just in general, like standing
You
at the
just like get a
entrance,
you
just
just
sort
like
of
get a
like,
wave in the back.
yeah, like bye.
Um, were the rest of you like waiting outside the lab for True to return, or did you head back to Cradle?
I think Yarrow was
I've
waiting.
Okay,
yeah, I almost imagined like maybe we
like ear up to
walk
the
very
door.
slowly away and right around the corner out of sight of the guard.
Yeah. So True comes out, and do you explain like all that happened?
Yeah, she was like,
Okay.
"Oh, hey, dudes, guess what? You's actually a spy for my dad. Um, she's reporting on everything that I do." Like, she told him I got the C plus, and like, I don't know, I just really wanted to see his face at that. But you know, also like I wrangled us like all higher access because I'm just gonna let you report to him like that's cool. It's gonna do their career like a lot of good. And I now don't have to wonder who it is that my dad has sent.
That is surprisingly forward thinking of you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So spy, but it's good. Spy, but you sound happy, not concerned.
I mean, like, basically, like, you and I are gonna kind of collab on what it is that you actually reports back to my dad.
Collaborative
Hmm, that's
espionage.
fun.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Yarrow,
just keep him interested enough that he doesn't like try to send someone else or even come here himself. Sorry, Keone.
no, 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 no. That's more important. I just Yarrow. Is there anybody in your family who could show up and throw everything into a cesspool of chaos, or are you good with all of
Well,
your
my
siblings? Because we're 3 for
my
3 right
dad
now.
is really obsessed with like baking right now, so he could probably be a real menace in the kitchen.
Okay.
Sort of like a bridezilla situation, but with like baking.
Such a charmed
Um,
pastoral life you live.
so I don't know.
Okay, so we should keep an eye out in the kitchens, but other than the kitchen, okay,
I'm going to
okay.
delete that information from my memory, I think.
As you are all like kind of shooting the shit a little bit, like kind of just having like a nice little like um back and forth. You're walking out of the NHP lab down the corner, and you come to like the large commons that kind of like run the length of the academy. It's on either side. It kind of separates like the east and west wings of the academy. Cradle is to the east. You just came from the west, and like down the south of the commons, it leads you like directly to the battlefields. Um, and as you're, crossing from the west to the east part of campus, um, you hear a very familiar voice go, Rose! And you turn around. Hyacinth is like running towards you, um, now dressed in like the Academy's garb. Sure enough, there's like a little Europa patch on it. Um, and she's out of breath, and she's like, now that I'm an official student, I've always wanted to say this. Um, I challenge House Cradle to a duel,
Oh,
and
joy.
and Rose, you get a pop up on your data pad that says you have been challenged to a duel by Hyacinth Malloy of House Europa. Um, accept, decline, yes or no.
Rose is like grinning in a way that's not it's not really it's not like a nice grin, it's kind of a threatening grin. Okay. Sure, you've been here like less than 3 hours? Yeah. Sure. This can only go well, right? Come on. I've been here what?
A month at this point.
So much longer than you. Yeah,
Yeah,
let's see how this goes.
yeah, but you don't know what I've been doing while I've been gone.
I mean, I don't care what you've been doing while you've been gone. You were gone.
You hit accept, and a banner flashes across all of your data pads, and it says duel between House Cradle and House Europa accepted. And it has a countdown timer that is set 3 days from now.
I think you see kind of the second the countdown timer pops up, Rose's bravado diminishes a little bit, and she kind of whips back around her shoulder, just like, I probably should have checked with the three of you before. Is that? Are we? Yeah.
Does it count as a
That's awesome.
duel if there's more than one participant on either side?
And you hear a little ding, and Oleander pops up on your data pad and is like,
Oh.
I'm so glad you asked. And rambles to the four of you like the rest of the way to House Cradle, and tells you like some very specific key points. Duels between houses. One one person like has to challenge another person directly, or the house heads have to like settle a disagreement. um, each pilot is allowed three backup pilots or like three other individuals to work with them in on the battlefield. And then you have to agree on a sit rep,
Oh, agree on a sit rep, you say?
which the only the only sit reps that are allowed to new members are just like full skirmishes.
Ah,
Mhm.
So it will be a skirmish between House Europa and House Cradle.
darn! Wanted to make you run an escort mission.
Can you imagine? But after that, Hyacinth just like bounds away, like waving.
See you later. Oh my god! Of course she did that. Why am I surprised? Why am I surprised?
You all like head back to the house, and immediately you are met by William. Like, what the hell did you do while you were gone?
I mean, from our side, we showed up to a scheduled meeting and then went and had some tea. But that's not the entirety of what happened. So
Yeah, you left some things out there. We're challenged to a duel. You're challenged to a duel. Who did you meet? Who'd you piss off?
well, technically she pissed me off first, I would say. But Hyacinth, my sister, my twin, is
sister.
here. And
The one you took the place of? That Hyacinth?
yeah, she
Why's she
did
here?
a she did a 180 on that decision.
I get it. Yeah,
She
no,
got
I get it now.
some new sponsorship and backing, so that's great.
All right.
And she wants to duel.
Hey, well, um, I, ugh, this is like my least favorite part of Househead. Is I have to like be one of the officiants of this thing. Okay. Um,
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
no, it's fine. Fuck. Okay. Here's what we'll do. So duels, well, they carry a lot of weight here. I don't know if you realize exactly like how much is at stake. Did you set terms already?
Does it count if we kind of talked angrily at each other about stuff that wasn't the duel? No? Okay, we didn't. I don't think we set terms. No.
Great. So I'm hoping it's just for points. I'll have to check with Oleander later. In that case, we need to call our sponsors.
What else would it be for if not points?
Expulsion.
Why is that an option? Why is that up
Uh,
to students to
Hmm.
this academy is a farce.
Yes, but well, the way the higher ups see it is if you can't like overcome a fully fledged pilot, the odds of you being a valuable asset diminish greatly, unfortunately.
But the two fully fledged pilots are pitted against.
Right, and in
I,
normal combat, one would die.
it seems like a.
That's not an option, though, right?
Oh,
Oh
yeah,
no,
that's a
there's
good
limiters in
clarification.
place. Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
no,
good,
you're
good.
no
Thank you, Truth.
permanent
Thank you.
harm.
I was starting to get worried for a
come.
second there.
No, no, nothing like that.
So this
Um,
academy is self-selecting for the most reckless lancers in Union.
to some extent, almost no one agrees on expulsion, though. That's only happened once, and it was for the best.
Okay. When we set terms, let's make that very clear.
Yeah.
He looks at the he like scrolls through the data pad and like pulls up the duels. Like, no, it's bragging rights and some points, which is pretty standard. And then Hyacinth has another clause specifically for Rose, stating you have to tell mom and dad that I'm the better sister if I win.
Hate
Don't
that.
mind. Don't mind losing bragging rights. We've been humiliated enough, but on your behalf, I do hate that for you.
Yeah. I mean, like, I wouldn't die, but I hate it so much it would feel like I was dying. So, let's win.
Right. So next thing to do is we beg our sponsors.
Great.
So, yeah, I'll start lining up some phone calls. You all might need to make an appearance at some point, but because you were challenged to a duel, you are like excused from most of your responsibilities. It sounds weird. You can only be challenged to a duel like once a semester, so it's a very rare occurrence.
I was gonna say, I bet that rule is in there because someone manipulated the system one year to
Yeah,
just skip all their classes.
yeah. So you get it's
Just
only
watch the
once
like
per semester.
glaring.
Any like
We just watch the
sanctioned
glaring
duel is
problem
once per
appear
semester.
and then
Yeah.
immediately get solved.
Yeah.
Most people schedule them for Friday, Monday sometimes. Don't ask me why they do that. Keep your weekend. Um, but anyway, now we all get to figure out what mechs work best for you. We get to go all out, which is very fun. So stay tuned, and over the next few days, be prepared to talk yourselves and your skills up. And we'll like slap cut over the next 3 days. You all kind of like you do what True did to meet Keane's parents. Like you put on your best, you do your laundry, talk up your abilities. Keane, you really like lean into the leadership that you showed, show off your combat footage. Yarrow, you lean into like your hacking abilities and like your ability to like really infiltrate like certain systems that other people might not. Um, Rose, you talk about your maneuverability, about the battlefield, and like show off your like leaping from like rooftops to just like cleave enemies in two. And True, you like talk up like your like hand to hand combat and just like being a menace in enemies' faces. And you all like successfully secure funding. Um, which it's not very hard to do. The Big Four and some other like anonymous donors are very, very eager to like fund these types of duels in particular, especially the ones that like the students kind of sanction themselves because it leads to great like combat footage because these students are reckless and wild and think of strategies that the NHPs have difficulty tracking. Um, so, excuse me. 3 days passes in more or less the blink of an eye. You like when she gets the news of this, like comes out of the NHP lab, is like, I left all the work with the other guys. They can handle it. Like I'm helping y'all. And she's kind of the lead expert on like some of this integration, um, and it works very closely with Ezra to like um, get some of like the AI systems in place for your new like upgraded mechs. Ezra is working around the clock with Rose and True, like augmenting the mechs to fit your exact specifications. You get parts delivered like the next day, and then the day comes and everyone is full of nerves. It just so happens to be Oleander's cycling day. Well, so there's like a small little party going on in like the main commons because for NHPs, it's more or less like their birthday. Some of the ones that are like around people 24/7 have like a cycling day and people like throw a party for them. They can't partake in the festivities like directly, but they enjoy the merriment and company. So you notice like as you're getting ready to like deploy into the field, like there is a very large crowd watching this duel. Because it's like Oleander Cycling Day, it's kind of a holiday for the rest of the academy, and it just so happens a duel between two sisters, who would have guessed, draws quite a crowd with all of you. Um, so you do the same thing as your initial like first combat, and you head up to the mech bay. What so you've made these mechs to fit your specifications. You don't need to have a frame chosen out. That's for later. But what does your mech look like? What makes it yours? Because you have the basic training mechs, the Everest and Sagamarthas and Kolamangas that you're assigned. But this is like your mech that you've been sponsored to use. Um, we'll start with True. What does your mech look like? What makes it yours?
I think it's probably like really sleek and kind of sexy, like a luxury race car kind of situation. I
Right.
think it would be like painted like a metallic silver, um, and probably have like bright red like racing stripes on it.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, and uh probably like a big ass freaking like blade.
Okay. Nice. Um, Yarrow, what does your mech look like? What makes it yours? And like what sets it apart from the other ones on the market?
I imagine that Yarrow chose a very like functional mech.
Hmm.
I think that they are looking to up their like sensors range in order to really get into other systems and
Totally.
try to hack them. So I imagine that while the body of their mech is humanoid, uh, the head of the mech is absolutely not. Maybe it might look like a satellite dish or something with a lot of like antenna instead of like a humanoid head. It's very like strange looking, almost eldritch.
Awesome. Um, Keone, what does your mech look like? Um, what sets it apart from the other ones on the market?
Kiani has decided that if she is being Kiani has gone for like a full fantasy aesthetic, and she has decided that if she is to be like, as far as she's concerned, parents have written her off, and she's like, my SSC contract is dead. I don't know when or how that's going to happen, but I am going to be cut off. It's over for me. There's no coming back from this. So she has decided to lean in real hard, and her mech is like a it looks like a almost stone statue that is covered in moss and vines, and it has like a massive shield and a crown that kind of glitters like ice, and it is like it looks like the old, like the lost forgotten mech of some ancient fantasy queen on cradle.
Awesome.
So it looks you it look almost like when standing still, it looks like a statue, and you're like, that's not a mech. That they forgot to give her one. And then it moves, and you're like, oh shit, it's got actuators.
Oh shit, she's back in heat. Rose, what does the mech you are going to duel your sister with look like?
This morning, when all of us wake up for the duel, I think the other three of you wake up to find when you go to leave that Rose has been pulling more of the flowers from the greenhouse and has decorated each of your doors with just a variety of different flowers and colors, primarily roses. And I mention this because a little bit a la Kiani's, her mech is this intersection of natural plant and then very refined forged metal.
Mhm.
It's very sturdy. It's very kind of sturdy, solid, more squat. It's not there to be, it's not the largest. It's certainly not there to be subtle. It's there to take up space and be dense in the way that a white dwarf star is dense. Sizable and formidable and not movable. And it has kind of a goldish copper sheen to it, like metal that's been run through fire back and forth. But
Mhm.
then around that, it's got its spikes. There are jagged spikes like thorns up from the differing surfaces and very like seems almost like they're too delicate, but like they're going to fall off, but they're not going to fall off. Woven around the like thorn spikes are roses.
Mm. All right. Very wonderful. So you all, as you're like you enter your mech suits and you are greeted with um very flashy or not flashy, depending on your specifications, because they are made for you. The dichotomy of sizes is very. It would be a little bit humorous if you weren't about to like dual Hyacinth, considering Gyarados is more of like a bodysuit that he like puts on, versus like the Titans next to him.
Mhm.
And once again, the rest of your house is there to kind of like see you off, before they go back and like join the festivities and like watch from afar. And you get a little like pop up from Oleander, and he's like decked out in like party clothes. He's like, good luck, it's going to be really fun to watch. Can't believe what a lovely cycling day gift you've all given me. Anyway,
You're
peace.
welcome.
And then he just like
Nice hat.
like flicks it and then like disappears. Um, you step onto this battlefield and you see the hexagonal like grid laid out before you, and on the far end you see your sister's like combat group as well, and her mech is more or less like the antithesis of yours. It is very clearly an SSC um like designed mech. The sleekness, just like everything about it is very refined and almost too perfect. It kind of like sets you back a little bit. The other ones, it's unclear whether or not they're SSC. One of them seems to kind of be like a hybrid of that plus maybe Harrison Armory. One of them is like very obviously like a beefed up like Kolamunga GMS mech with some extra bells and whistles. And one of them is large and imposing and takes up far more space than any of yours. And you hear a little crackle in your ear, and you hear Hyacinth's voice go, "Oh, every rose has its thorns, doesn't it, dear sister?"
Yeah, that was the text. I'm glad you got it. Congrats.
Oh, you always were the creative one. Too bad I'm the better fighter. Then the crackle like goes away. Um, you all see like the heads up display, and it's like it like goes through a random display of like battlefields, and eventually locks in on one. And once again, like the initial combat that you did, the battlefield before you warps and changes. The ground ripples as it's replaced with like a vast canyon, with a large gorge in between the two parties. On either side, there's like very thin stretches of rock that jet out across the canyon like a maw. um, and the hexagons like start popping up, and like there's rocks that give you cover, and just like you see the dust blow before you, and then you hear countdown from Oleander in your ears. It goes 3, 2, 1. Let the duel begin, and you are off to the races. Both parties start firing shots back and forth. Um, you you work in sync with one another, um, far more than you did in your first combat. You fall into your roles like very, very easy, and it's obvious. Um, Hyacinth's team is a little bit scattered. It's kind of obvious she doesn't know them very well with how they're playing, and it seems like you all are getting the upper hand, and you start to like, I don't know, celebrate internally a little bit. Um, but there is a flash on all of your HUDs, and it's just a warning. Um, it just says unauthorized access, and you hear a crackle in your earpieces. It's William warning all of you to like leave immediately, like come back to the hangar. We're going to shut down the combat. And it looks like the Hyacinth's team like gets the same message because their mechs stop and they go to turn to run like back towards their hangar. And there is a split second where the simulated environment before you like ripples like someone tossed a boulder into a pond, and there is a searing beam of red light that shoots from the top of the arena, and it cuts across um, all of Hyacinth's mechs, and their mechs like fall to the ground, um, unmoving, but it still seems like they are unharmed. You see like life signs from your heads up display. Like the pilots themselves are unharmed. The mechs did the job and like kept them safe, but their mechs are unmoving. And this humanoid mech swoops in from the top of the arena, um, and just like hovers before you. It's, from what you can tell, unlike any mech on the market. It doesn't look like anything from the SSC, the GMS, Harrison Armory, the IPSN, even the Whisperings of Horus don't match what this mech looks like. It has these spoked wings that jet out directly from its back, almost like an angel's wings, but ending just in like thorns. Um, it hovers with like this blue energy emanating from its feet, and it has a massive laser cannon in its hand that slowly like comes apart, and these little bits of what now seem to be like pieces of the mech like kind of reassemble themselves along its arms and shoulders and legs, and it's left with just like a regular beam rifle. um and then you see Oleander pop up on your displays. It's like, you all need to run. You ask, what is this? It's like, that's me. And you think back to your initial tour, how Orion Academy was one of the forerunners for NHP piloted mechs. And Oleander explains to you really quick that something went wrong with the cycling. A core got put where it wasn't supposed to go. Um, and whatever part of me is in there is currently cascading. So you either need to run or take care of it. And you hear another crackle in your earpiece, and it sounds like Oleander, but like in a distorted voice. Um, it just says, "True. Tell your father this weapon is fantastic." And that is where we are going to end this session.
Oh,
That's not a good thing to hear. Oh no.
Okay.
Thanks, Dad.
Thanks, Dad.
True. That means that we can totally take care of that weapon, right? It's totally
I mean,
fine.
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Like
Anyway.
my dad, like does any like secret off the books, like
No.
weapons creation at
That'd
all.
be crazy. No, that'd be nuts.
Thank you all so much for watching the third and penultimate episode of Pencils Down, Weapons Up, a Lancer game. I have been your host, Nanite. You can find me on Blue Sky at Nanite Technology. And here next week on Nerds with Dice. And I will let the cast tell you where you can find them.
Tinden's there on all socials, TINTENSEHER. My link tree will point you everywhere you need to go. Currently working on a lot of Draw Steel stuff. We launched Until the Last Villain Dies today, and we funded in 8 hours. So if you're into Draw Steel, come check that out. And next month, I'll be here playing a couple games for Nerds with Pride and running one as well. So check those out. Also, stick around the channel, and you'll see more of me.
Fantastic. Rose, where can we Emma, where can we find you?
Where we can find Rose.
Yeah,
Yeah, we can find Rose right here next week is where we can find Rose. But you can also find me in a couple different places. You can find me playing Echoes of the Forgotten with Soup Dumpling Media. You can listen to my audio drama Arrhythmia, which is a queer haunted house audio drama that is completely released. And next week you can hear an episode that I wrote for This Address Does Not Exist, which is an audio drama anthology.
Fantastic. Lily, where can we find you?
You can find me at Lily, like my name, PHL, on Instagram. That's where I have like a bunch of my fiber art stuff that I do. You can also check my link tree at Elise on Life. I am in 3 podcasts. 2 of them are actual plays.
Oh, you muted yourself.
Did we cut out?
Yeah,
Yep.
she
Oh, sorry. We're Misfits of Space, actual play AP. We're doing Scum and Villainy campaign right now. There's Greetings from Stability, which is a horror anthology AP podcast. And then Blurred on the Street is a podcast that I do with my sister and a mutual friend. And we are three Black and Indigenous femmes who talk about being in geeky spaces.
Fantastic. And Keith, where can we find you?
Hi, I'm Keith. You can find me across the internet at Keith Asada. You can watch the other sci-fi show that I do in the Star Wars universe on Dexera 19's channel on this coming Sunday. And you can catch some of the games that I've written, mostly 1 and 2 player games, on itch.io at Keith Asada.
Awesome. And then if you want more Nerds with Dice, you can tune into Vaesen, the Morrigan Society, Thursdays at 9 p.m. Central, and Fields of the Dead, a Midwestern zombie apocalypse, Saturdays at 8 p.m. Central. And as we have said last time, Nerds with Dice has several casting calls out for our June Pride event, Nerds with Pride. We're raising money for Trans Latin Nat Coalition all month long. You can find the casting call on our Blue Sky and in our Discord. If you want to find more Nerds with Dice adventures, head over to the YouTube where you can watch our saved VODs. Stay updated on everything Nerds with Dice by subscribing to Nerds with Dice on Blue Sky. And if you have a story you wish to tell or a game you wish to showcase, our Creators app is always open and can be found on Blue Sky, or you can ask for the link in our Discord. Until our conclusion next week, I have been your GM Nanite, and we will see you the same time next week. Until then, have a good night.
Bye. Please pray for us. Thank you.
Bye, y'all.